In this crash course, I'm going to go over Replo, the best Shopify drag and drop page builder. We'll go from blank canvas to a simple landing page layout, and I'm going to show you how you can build it in less than 10 minutes. To connect your Shopify store, you want to hit new Replo project, add a project name, add your Shopify store to integrate, and then hit create new project. Replo has a bunch of pre-made templates, so what you can do is hit browse templates, choose a different page type that you want to build, use as a starting point, and you have two options. You can either copy the URL and then paste it into your editor, or you can just click on the actual template and duplicate template, and that will create a new page for you to use and edit. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to build something from scratch, so always want to start out with a container. This is what I like to use, so fill available with on the right hand side. You want to add some padding, so I like to use rem, so 3 rem all around the top, right, bottom, and left, just to give some nice spacing and padding. Then you can also set a max width of 1300 pixels. This is just to kind of keep things more standardized and organized. And add another container there. This is going to house everything that we're going to have inside it. So that's going to house the text and images. You want to set a column there for the left and right hand side. We're throwing in some headings for the headline and subheadline. What you can also do is hit command and shift, or shift to hold to add, select multiple ones. You can left hand align those to shift it to the left. We can also add a button to that as well. And we have the two text blocks as well as the buttons. What you also want to do is shift those two again and select A and command G to group those together. You don't necessarily need to do this, but this is just if you want to add specific gaps. So gaps are just spacing between two elements within the same container block. So you'll notice that we added gaps there. We're also adding max width for the buttons just to have a standardized length for the button. In this case, we did 400 pixels. We justified it all the way to the left. And in this part now, we're going to add an image to the right hand side of the section. So we have the left hand side from the left column for the text and buttons, and then we have the right side with the images. Again, we're going to add some gaps in between the left and right hand side as well. And from there, we can play around and tweak the different aspects of heading 1, heading 2. That's just for SEO tags. And then for mobile responsive, we can rearrange from going from columns to desktop to auto layout for mobile. We can align it vertically down and add a gap as well. We added three rems there, and we can always tweak around the font size and the different spacing, but that is just the basic layout of everything. Now I'm going to show you how to duplicate sections. Just select a particular container or element and just hit Command D. If you have Mac, it might be Control D on Windows. Then you want to vertically lay the page section out so everything points from top to bottom. And you can also do Command C to copy and Command V to copy and paste specific elements, but Command D works as well. Now what I want to show you is how to set product blocks, like a product by blocks. So just go to product layouts and then select the product by blocks there. Replo makes it super easy that it pulls dynamic data from your Shopify. So everything you see here is everything that's set up in the backend of Shopify. So product title, product descriptions, the image you see on the left, that's all set up in the backend of Shopify. It pulls dynamically from there. You can see that we're able to pull product titles, product descriptions, product pricing. We can also remove the dynamic data, and we can manually type in whatever we want as well. In this case, for this particular section, it just makes sense to pull everything dynamically, because any changes you make to your backend in Shopify will reflect for the pages that you build inside Replo. This works well for like changing pricings, for example. You can also pull your image dynamically. So maybe, for example, you have multiple images, so you want to showcase like a carousel. So you can use the carousel component that we have inside Replo, drag and drop like we did. We want to fill available with for that, just to make it a little more streamlined there from the overall looks of it. And then you'll see here that we have all the images that are pulled directly from my Shopify. So those are all images. They're pulling dynamically from that, so you don't have to manually set anything. It's all there at your disposal from your Shopify backend. This is to show you how you can design and restructure some sections. So maybe in this case, instead of having long blocks of text for the product description, we want to use 3 quick bullet points, right? So this is what I'm going to show you here. I'm just taking simple text blocks and icon blocks. Let's say we want to just have a simple check mark there. We want to group those together by hitting Command G, selecting those 2 elements together, hitting Command G or Control G to group those together to create a new container block. And what we can do is hit Command D once we have one of those that we like. Command D to duplicate it across 3 bullet points that we want. We can change the font, we can change the line height. I like to just keep it simple, auto, or even like percentages, 130, 140% is good. Setting to pricing again, Command G again. We can now set a compare price for people who have different comparison pricing. If you have a sale, whatever the case may be, format it to strike through the previous price, old price, and we can also play around with overall look by just decreasing, changing the font color, the font, the color transparency, just to make it fade a little bit out. We can change the actual add to cart button. There's a bunch of different options that we can select. In this case, we're just going to do add to cart. We can go from cart or checkout after, whatever you want to see there. But that's just to show you how to build that out. Mobile responsiveness, we're just going to restructure it. Instead of going from left to right, we're going to go top to bottom. In this case, we're just going to make sure that the text blocks are all fill available with, so it doesn't get cut out. And you can see here that we did that. We can change the font size for mobile. Again, any changes you make to mobile won't be affected on desktop, right? The whole point is to make it mobile responsive, and that's a simple way to do that. When it comes to buttons, here's a quick tutorial on that. Select the button element, go to interactions, and on click, you can select whatever the interaction you want. So in this case, we can add to product. So if they click on that particular button, it'll add that product that you linked and go directly to either cart or checkout. We can also redirect to the new page. We can scroll to a URL hash mark, so a specific section within the page, you can set that. There's a bunch of different things you can do, but in this case, we're just gonna show you a redirect there. This is going to be an overview on just building new sections. So just so you can see how I build sections. So in this case, we're going to build a 3-column grid for the features and benefits. And I'm just going to take a lot of the things that we already built to make it easy for you to see how we can restructure sections and tweak things around to build new components and sections and even pages. So in this case, what we're going to do is restructure the container into columns. We have 3 columns. Now we have those 2 text blocks, the heading and subheading. We are going to just change the font size to that to be a little smaller. We're going to change the paragraphs as well. Get rid of the buttons. We're also going to add a icon. You can also use an image for this part as well, whatever you like. We're going to center it and then change the font. You can change the weight of it as well. There's a bunch of things you can change. You have full flexibility when it comes to the overall look and aesthetic. This is just a really simple way to show you how to build new sections and components. And from there, we can just hit Command D again by selecting and duplicating that. And you can see right away, we have a nice 3-column grid that shows 3 different sections within that. We're also adding a headline to this overall section. Again, just copying and pasting the existing stuff that we have already. You don't need to overcomplicate things. Keep it super simple. And you'll see here that we just simplified it on the back end of just having a text block, an image block, and then that container 3 that houses the 3-column grid. And if you want to make this mobile responsive, you just want to just group the container that we have. Instead of laying it horizontal, you want to lay it vertically. So go to auto layout and hit the downward arrow. That was going to lay it from top to bottom. Let's also add some gaps. That again is just spacing in between sections, things that are within a container, right? We're going to have a gap for container 2. That's going to have spacing between the image and the 3-column grid there. And it's as simple as that. It's all about just rearranging and laying specific containers and components in a way that is responsive to mobile. If you want to set specific page titles and URL links, you can do that in the page settings. The SEO settings here, the page title description, that's what's going to be seen to other people on Google, or if you send a link for it. So just make sure to set that. And you can also set your page as the home page as well by just toggling that button up there. But it's as simple as just setting up your titles, descriptions, and images. When you're ready to publish, just hit the blue button on the top right to publish your page.